Hi and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I am Rachael Thompson-Phillips, the creator of the BEYOU Oracle Cards and also of the Sacred Oracle online program. This week's energy forecast is for May the 24th through to May the 30th, with the overall theme being life immersion. Now let's dive in, explore how this beautiful message unfolds through the cards and knowing and understanding the energy that is going to potentially play out through this coming week. Monday and Tuesday is the card of limitations. Wednesday through till Friday is the card of transformation, and the weekend's message is grounding. Now with the beginning of the week, life immersion, what do you think of that? We sort of consider it's a reflective moment. It's time to take a life inventory. And that's exactly what it is. On Monday and Tuesday, it leads us towards the full moon, and it's a lunar eclipse this month. So it's going to pack some punch. So with the full moon, it's about illuminating things in your life that are holding you back or have a density within your energy frequency. So think about your energy like a beautiful ring, and consider that old past pains, old traumas, things that are still affecting you today, even if it's minute, are leaving little dense areas within that ring of your energy field. So what do you think happens to your energy when all of a sudden things pivot and they end up in that density of energy? It means that it creates a disruption within your life, hence bringing you back to old past pains, running into old people, old situations that you think, hey, I've done so much healing work around. Why is it still presenting itself? That's because there's no closure. Now, the one thing I do want to share, a lot of the times I hear people say to me, I've looked at this situation so many times, Rachael, how many more times? There is a concept around psychology that sometimes it takes 7 to 10 times to look at something before you find absolute closure, because each time that you're revisiting that situation, you're reviewing it from a completely different perception, and therefore allowing you to unfold the healing based on that perception. And once that's healed, then the next time that it pivots around and you land back at that same spot, yes, you're looking at the same situation, but you're again looking at it from a completely different lens. Lunar eclipses and full moons are about giving us closure. So please don't get caught up on how many times you're going to be able to review that same situation. Look at it this time from a completely new lens and say, ask your soul, what is it about this current situation that needs to be addressed so I can receive full closure? The limitations card with Monday and Tuesdays is your limitation to looking at this perception. The limitations in thinking that you've done something wrong or you haven't done enough healing around it. All it is the limitation in your thinking that's preventing you from being able to receive closure around this. So this is a beautiful time to rebirth a new perspective in the way in which you view these things that come up to the surface, and understanding that your soul and source, being your cosmic team, will always guide you exactly to the very time and space that requires healing, plus give you additional support to be able to understand what is it about this time? What is the angle or the perception? Not so much the perception. What is the angle, and what is it about this particular time and space that needs to be healed? So it could be you may be angry at this time. So think about it that there's 7 to 10 times that you visit it. One time might be anger. Next time might be loneliness. Next time must be blame. Next time must be shame. Next time could be guilt. Have a look at it and see what emotion is being triggered within you that allows you to be able to have a look at that time and space in your life from that perspective. And therefore you will be able to unlock the message that's being revealed to you and be able to understand why it's being presented to you right at this current time. So that's the limitations, is revision, to be able to dive deep into immersing yourself into reflective times in your life to be able to do an inventory, to have a look, to see what needs to be cleaned up, see what needs to be tidied up, do a nice little spring clean and move on. And I think when we can find these beautiful strategic ways to be able to look at what's been presented to us in a full moon, then our brain understands what it's looking for and knows how to go straight to that and do what it needs to do to be able to move forward. And when you can gain that completely new perspective and take yourself out of the equation of going into, blaming yourself, have I done something wrong? By being able to review that time in your life and gain a completely new perspective on what's being presented to you at this time allows you to therefore move through to the energy of Wednesday through till Friday, which is the transformation. This is where you get to transform and move yourself forward. The beautiful thing that also gets brought into awareness when a lunar eclipse appears is it's time to start fresh things. So you will have a fresh new lens in which that you will have gained around that time in your life. You're going to be able to take that lesson and what you learned at that time and bring it into growth. How can I transform this? What can I do differently? What is it that's holding me back? And how can I shift and bring about new patterns and behaviors and attitudes and beliefs for you to be able to move forward with a lot more confidence, thinking about your future. If you are not where you want to be, which is a lot of people's, everyone goes through those times in their lives where they question, why am I not where I want to be? Well, that type of questioning is going to come up, but that is to trigger and activate you into action. Because transformation requires action. It means that if you're shifting new beliefs, it requires you to spend time working on the inner aspect of self to reinstate and download new beliefs within you. If it's new actions, it means that you're not going to just do a new action once and you think, peace out, I've got it, I'm a master and let's move on. You're going to need to repeat doing that new pattern in order for it to strengthen and become something that's so solidified within you that it then falls back into your unconsciousness. If it is a new type of language that you need to be able to adopt within your own self, you don't just repeat that word once. No, it's about consistency of repeating it over and over until again it becomes something that is completely unconscious that you can do without thinking. All of this requires practice, and as we know, even from when we were children, practice makes perfect. So this is where the transformation comes in. It's time to dig deep and do the hard work. And that means hard work on the inner sense. And that means that it's only you that knows that you're doing all of this inner work, and that is okay. But the thing that you need to be patient in is a lot of the time when we're doing all of this inner work, and as humans, we require and like validations. We thrive when we receive compliments because it encourages us to keep transforming forward and to connect into that determined part within yourself when things get difficult. So this is the time to remember that you are your own most amazing cheer squad. Every single time you catch yourself doing something new, you congratulate yourself. Tell yourself how proud that you are every day before you go to bed. Sit there, and before you drop off into the beautiful land of sleep, this is the time to go through and do a little bit of an overall check on yourself. What was something awesome you did today? What was something new that you did? Look at all the inner work that you're doing to break those old conditions that you are now moving into a space of establishing healthy new ways of doing and being within yourself, and go through that little inventory and say, I'm so proud of you for X, Y, Z. And this is where you can continue to water your own self. So think of yourself like a plant. A plant, when it comes, it's this tiny little thing, and it needs lots of water and sunshine and lots of love to be put in the right position for it to thrive and blossom and grow. Well, you're the same. By you saying these beautiful affirmations and reminding yourself of how proud you are for all the work that you're doing, this is like you watering and putting the sunlight on you for you to be able to blossom and thrive. And this is where we need to be able to remember, yes, it's wonderful to receive external validation, but that only shows up after you've done all the inner work. But you still want that validation, so give it to yourself. That is your self-care, self-love act that you can give to yourself, is to hold yourself accountable to continuing on the new pathway of establishing and starting that fresh new start within your own self, and giving yourself the cheering squad that you require until it becomes something that's really simple and easy for you to do. And then, which case it then starts showing up externally. Therefore, other people start recognizing those shifts and changes within you, and then they will complement you. But every shift and change begins with inner work first. And as you can continue doing that and reestablishing what are all the new things that you want to start within, you know, a being and doingness, beingness, doing the inner work, the doingness is what do you need, what do you, after you've done that life inventory, what do you want to do differently? And then once you've had that time to think over, clear away the old, giving yourself permission to sit in that beautiful space of being proud of yourself for releasing and looking at things in your timeline and doing that inventory. It's now time to look at, well, what are the action steps? What do I need to be able to do? And that brings us forward to the weekend about learning to ground those new, fresh starts within your own self. So you may find that you will want to have quiet, reflective time to be able to just go and sit in nature. That you want to sit in the sun or go to the ocean or be in the beauty of Mother Earth, because again, Mother Earth is like a vacuum cleaner that goes around and sucks up all or any negativity that could be potentially lingering, not only just within your inner sense, but within your auric field. And being out in nature and being out underneath the sunlight or near the ocean we give that permission for Mother Earth to do what she does, which is help clean up all any debris that is sitting within any one of those energy fields, so that we come back feeling shiny and new and have that renewed vigor to continue along the new pathway that you have chosen for yourself. So this week is filled with so much insight. It's a beautiful time when we have a lunar eclipse to be very aware that these are what I'm going to share with you can reveal some of the symptoms or some of the things that can present when we have a lunar eclipse, which is crazy vivid dreams, incredibly tuned in intuition. It's so on point. It's guiding you every single step of the way. So if you get a gut feeling about something, listen to it. If some bit of information drops into your consciousness, listen to it. If you see lots of signs showing up, that's a visual representation. Tune into your clear senses and allow them to be a guidance tool to support you through this really huge week that's going to be there. It's also a time for when people have heightened explosions of emotion. So a lot of anger and a lot of rage can come up. A lot of old drama of people wanting to suck you back into the past as a way of projecting their stuff as if it's yours. These are all important things to be very aware of. It's probably not the right terminology, but for me it becomes like this power game. If you choose to get caught up in the game and be triggered by it, then you only perpetuate the situation. By having that conscious awareness that these are the potential things that and how the energy can play out, it gives you that potential to go, oh, I understand, I've been pulled into a game that I don't want to play. I'm going to stay on the outside and be like the referee and be like, there are other ways in which we can address the situation. Talk to me about what emotion, what is behind the anger, what is behind the rage, because anger and rage is only just a blanket to mask what the real problem is. So if you find that you're in a situation like that and you do want to engage and explore this with someone, but not in that energy of anger and rage, drop down, keep asking yourself or asking them, what is it? What is making you angry? What is it about this situation that makes you angry? And therefore it allows you to dig in further to explore what the real core problem is. And as you've heard me repeat many times over, if we can get to the core of the problem, that's where the transformation begins. It's not transformed when we're in anger because we say things that hurt people, we do things that hurt people, rather than being able to address it in a different way. And anger and that rage is where something has been bottled up for so long that you have the inability to be able to process and be able to voice what's really going on. So that's where it takes patience and time to be able to explore and see what's really going on. So this is something that could happen outside, but it's also something that could be playing out within your own self as well, like always feeling into that anger, little things, irritating you or making you frustrated. Dive in further and see what it is that's really going on. And therefore we can stop the game of being dragged in and blaming and projecting and take accountability as to what is my role in this situation. Some of the other things that could present itself: incredibly profound intuitive insight, being those aha moments where sometimes you get to review over things and it's like, I'm going to say this to all you women out there because you'll get that. When you may tell your partner something and then all of a sudden someone else comes along and says something, and then your husband comes back to you or your partner comes back to you and goes, you wouldn't believe what this person said. Oh, it was life-changing. And the wife sits there and scratches her head and goes, wow, that's only been what I've been saying for the last, how many times? Well, that's what it's like at this time and point. It's like that last piece of the puzzle that you've been looking for around closure is going to come, and it's only because there's a new perception. Someone is a new type of information. Also, I reframe. It is the same type of information, but it has been delivered in a way that this time you actually really absorb it and you're like, wow, I actually get that. And therefore that allows you to be able to receive that last piece of the puzzle that gives us closure around lots of things. So look out for those aha and epiphany moments, because behind that packs some punch of real potency, of being able to, could be the piece that you've been looking forward to dive in and move forward with so much confidence. It could be the last piece that allows you to have closure around a time and situation. It could be that last piece that you were looking forward to motivate you and to activate that confidence to be like, bam, this is the direction that I'm going, or bam, this is what I'm going to state to the universe to work with me, because this is what I truly feel that I am deserving and worthy of. I am enough now. So there are all these beautiful things that have been brought into us. But as always with a full moon, it can feel like that we're out of sync and out of balance. But remember, when we are out of balance, allow yourself to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, because unless we are shaken outside of our comfort zone, do we usually tend to take new steps forward. So it's been, and it will be, an incredibly huge week this week, but just know that you've got this. Just know that your soul and the source, being the universe, has got your back. Never forget to continue to ask for support, or even if it's support, even if it's something that you don't understand what's going on, ask for the support for it to be shared with you. What's your lesson? How can you grow? And therefore that allows you to be able to evolve. And remembering grounding at the end of the week is so vital, because it's about grounding in the new that you are wanting to establish in your life. So I wish you an incredibly amazing week ahead. Much love to you all. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know how this connects with you. And I wish you a beautiful and powerful and transformative full moon lunar eclipse. See ya.